One silence from her used to paralyze you. One cold reply could ruin your whole day. But now, that silence is your signal, not to chase, but to rise, not to react, but to lead. That's the power of Stoic detachment. And today, you learn to wield it. Because when she pulls away, you're not losing her, you're gaining clarity. And the man who sees clearly becomes untouchable. They called you too sensitive, too emotional, too reactive. You heard it all. And maybe you believed them. Maybe you let your emotions run your life. One message could ruin your week. One look could throw you off for hours. One memory could break your focus. And you started to wonder, will I always be this fragile? Will I always be so easily shaken? But what if I told you that mental toughness isn't about never feeling? It's about no longer being owned by those feelings. It's not about becoming a machine. It's about becoming sovereign. That's what Stoic detachment teaches you. Not to suppress emotion, but to stop being controlled by it. And once you master that, you're untouchable. The world today rewards reactivity. The algorithm feeds on outrage. Weak men live on extremes. Loud, defensive, overcompensating. But behind all that noise is usually insecurity. Detachment, real detachment, is the opposite. It's calm, silent, focused. The Stoic doesn't withdraw from life. He simply stops tying his identity to every emotion, every opinion, every outcome. The man who is detached is still engaged. He works, he loves, he leads, but he no longer collapses. When things shift, he doesn't need things to go perfectly to stay steady. And in a chaotic world, that makes him rare. And because he's rare, he's respected, feared even, not because he's aggressive, but because he's unmoved, because he's mentally untouchable. Let's get clear on what detachment really is. Detachment is not indifference. It's not apathy. It's not coldness. Detachment is clarity. It's knowing what belongs to you and what doesn't. It's choosing not to suffer over things you can't control. It's loving deeply, but never losing yourself. It's walking away from disrespect without anger. It's releasing attachment to outcomes without losing ambition. It's holding presence without gripping control. Imagine living that way. Imagine hearing criticism and feeling no need to defend yourself. Imagine your ex moving on and feeling peace instead of panic. Imagine someone ghosting you, and instead of spiraling, you get more focused. That's not fantasy. That's training. And it's available to you. It starts with your mind, your thoughts. You can't detach from the world until you learn to detach from your thoughts. Every belief you carry about your worth, your success, your past, your future, most of it wasn't chosen by you. It was programmed. And now, every time someone doesn't text back or praise you or validate you, those beliefs get activated. The Stoic man sees this. He questions it. He rewrites it. He doesn't just sit in stillness. He trains his thoughts, like a warrior trains his body. Discipline, reflection, daily. He writes down what triggered him, and he investigates. He doesn't blame. He takes ownership. He builds awareness. And with that awareness comes space. And in that space, he no longer reacts. He chooses. And in that choice, he becomes free. And the freedom keeps expanding. Because now, you're not owned by approval. You're not chasing apologies. You're not stuck in old cycles. You're building. You're leading. You're choosing your emotions instead of being chosen by them. The Stoic man feels everything. He just doesn't act on everything. He doesn't speak just to be heard. He speaks when it adds value. He doesn't argue to be right. He speaks truth and lets silence do the rest. He doesn't compete for attention. His presence does the talking. And if he's not invited to a room, he builds his own. Detachment gives you time, emotional time. Instead of reacting in seconds, you respond in minutes, maybe hours, maybe not at all. And that pause is your weapon. That pause is where you reclaim yourself. If this message is hitting you right now, if you've ever spiraled from a text, lost sleep over silence, or felt powerless in the face of someone pulling away, pause for just 1 second and hit that subscribe button. Because we're building a different breed of men here. Men who don't break when life pulls away. Men who lead, even through pain. If that's the man you want to be, you're in the right place. Now, let's keep going. It gets deeper. In that pause, the emotion comes. You feel it, but you don't become it. And that one habit separates the average from the elite. It's not easy. The world doesn't train you to be detached. It trains you to react, to please, to perform, to over-explain. But every time you detach from a need to be liked, from a need to be understood, from a need to be validated, you gain a piece of yourself back. And eventually, you become whole. And when you're whole, no one can use your emotions against you. No one can trigger you into old patterns. You can love someone and still walk away if you're not respected. You can lose something and not lose yourself. You can be hated and still be calm. You can be alone and still feel complete. The world will test this. You'll be provoked, ignored, betrayed, lied to. You'll be tempted to react, to fight, to chase, but you don't. You stay composed. Not because you're passive, because you're powerful. You've seen what emotional chaos costs you. Time, focus, peace. You're done paying that price. You've chosen a different path. The Stoic path, where discipline is louder than drama, where purpose is louder than pain, where silence is stronger than noise. You won't always get it right. You'll slip. You'll react. That's okay. The goal isn't perfection. It's progress. And every day you practice detachment, you get sharper, clearer, stronger. Every day you pause instead of panic, you reclaim more of your power. And that power becomes peace. Not fake peace. Real, grounded, unshakable peace. The kind that walks into any room and changes the temperature. The kind that doesn't need to dominate because it radiates. That's Stoic detachment. That's what makes you mentally untouchable. You're no longer a slave to the external. You're rooted in the internal. You've stopped chasing and started choosing. And because of that, nothing owns you. Live from that place. Build from that place. Lead from that place. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs more presence, more clarity, more calm. Be that man, not someday, today.